Hey everybody, time for me to do another flea market find series. I've got a few things to show you. I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to start with the Quinebaug Valley Engineers Association flea market, the first flea market. They run three flea markets, and in conjunction with the tractor show, of course, and vintage construction equipment shows. So first one I think was the tail end of May or early June, and I actually alluded to this probably a few weeks ago now. There was a video that should have posted that I talked about. I don't even remember what video it was, if it was a Vernon video or what, but I kind of went off on this whole rant about, not really a rant, but I talked about running into a YouTube fan of mine from YouTube, which I thought was really kind of cool. I've never had that happen before. Guy actually was walking by and recognized my voice, and I was in the midst of drooling over a large Gerstner toolbox that I couldn't afford. Anyways, never showed you what I ended up buying at that show. So let me show you some of the lesser stuff first, and I'll show you the real deal. Yep, reamers again. I hadn't bought any in a while. I came across this guy who had a bunch of machinist tools that he had already unloaded, and he got pretty decent prices for a lot of his stuff. By the time I had gotten to his table, which was kind of off to the side and the back and everything, I guess I had missed maybe some stuff, but judging from what he had told me about some of the stuff he had and some of the prices he got, I don't think I really missed any huge deals. But he still had some of these reamers left, and I was looking at him. I was like, no, that's a pretty good sized, adjustable reamer there. And he only had $2 on this one, and $2 on this big one, and he had a buck on each of these small ones here. These two here aren't adjustable. These are just, I don't know what size they are. That one's got it's not a Morse taper, but it's got a tang there. And then this one has got the square drive, like for a tap wrench to drive it, and that one also. So I figured, well, I just said I'll take what you got left if you want to just go $1 a piece on them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I gave $6 for these. They got surface rust on them. They obviously been kicking around someplace damp. And they're in someplace damp now, which is my basement. And I don't know if I'm ever going to even use these, but I just figured, be a nice thing to have in case I do want to use them. And I was going along, and my son actually spotted some G.I. Joes, a couple of G.I. Joes that were like in really rough shape. They weren't really valuable collectibles at all. And my 9-year-old just took a shine to him like immediately, and he hadn't had any G.I. Joes, so got to talking with the guy, and one of the G.I. Joes was missing a leg from the knee down, and so we figured, well, alright, we'll just attribute that to an artillery shell. But so the guy had a couple bucks on the G.I. Joes, and I happened to spot this this bandsaw blade box, and I noticed that it's got 3 brand new blades in it for the Milwaukee compact portable bandsaw, and I had been meaning to try and find a deal on one of these, and I had told myself that even if I got myself a dedicated metal cutting horizontal bandsaw for the shop at some point, that I still was going to want one of these, just because it's such a handy thing to have. I don't know if you've ever seen Jody at weldingtipsandtricks.com. He's got a series of videos on YouTube that are very interesting. And a while back, he did a series on a little stand that I want to say I think he got from a company. I can't think of what it is right now. Oh, Swag Off-Road, I think, is the company that he got the stand from. And Swag Off-Road apparently is a company that sells kits for bumpers and stuff like that for if you want to set up your Jeep for some serious off-roading. And for whatever reason, I think they've got a few tools there, and one of the things I think they have that he had picked up and really liked was a stand that basically turns this type of a saw into a little miniature shop vertical bandsaw. So that's just an example of one of the things you could do with this tool. Well, for $5 for these 3 brand new blades, I couldn't pass it up, even though I didn't have one of these saws. Notice I said didn't, not do not have. So a couple of weeks after that show, I'm in the city and I stop at the pawn shop, as I do from time to time, just to look at what the overpriced stuff is there. And I ask, because from time to time they get the horizontal band saws. They get the portable band saws. And I asked the guy, and sure enough, they got 2 there. And actually, I think they might have only had 1 that time that I stopped. Well, anyways, make a long story short, I asked him if I could check this one out. So he pulls it down, because they don't have it on display. And he pulls it down. Sure enough, I think it's one that I've seen there before enough times. And I look at it and I go, okay, well, we got a couple extra blades here. And we got the all-important owner's manual. The warranty registration card is still in here. Okay. And it actually says what the blade size is. 1/2 inch by OT by 44 7/8. I haven't even checked yet, hopefully. Hopefully that's what this is. It actually doesn't say what the length is. Well, it's funny, it doesn't tell you what the length of this blade is. I'm hoping that it's just the right one because of the fact that, well, it says for use with Milwaukee compact portable bandsaws 6242-6, 2629-22, and 2629-20. And this is a 6225, 6230, and 6236 is what the manual is for. This manual is for 3 different saws. There's a difference in the size of the amperage draw of the motor, I think, and then this one actually is a 2-speed, which is another difference, I think. And so this is a 6236. So, much to my chagrin, I don't think I bought the saw that these blades will fit. Oh well. Anyways, so I'm looking at the saw, and it's all scuffed up, scratched up, and everything, and I'm like, oh wow, Boy, I'll tell you. So the price on it right here is $299. So they put a price at $300. Now, I've talked about this pawn shop once before. I don't understand how they do business there, because for whatever reason they insist on putting a very high price on every item in the place and then telling you that they discount off of that price. Now, I imagine they do that because they basically have had success doing it that way. On the other hand, you go back and you see stuff that's been there for months. I've seen stuff that was there for years, and I know it's the same item. It's not like they got another one of the same thing. I know it's the exact same one. I don't know. Doesn't seem like they're worried about turning over inventory too much. They must be making so much money on the pawn side that they could care less. So, $299, so right off the bat I'm thinking, alright, they're going to play their usual game, which means I could probably get this saw for half of that, $150. So, I talked to the guy, asked him, well, what's your best on it and everything. I think he came up with 140. He was probably looking for me to counter with 160, and then he'd split the difference at 150 or whatever. But the thing was, I didn't want to pay 150 for it. It's got more wear on it than I'd like to see. I've been there and seen them have saws like this that look brand new in the box. So I tried to get it for $110, and he said no. And the funny thing is that what ended up happening was I was looking at some other tools there, and I had inadvertently put my cell phone down on the counter. And when I ended up leaving, I forgot my cell phone in the place. And the guy was good enough to put it aside for me. So when I backtracked where I was, luckily I hadn't gone too far, realized I left my phone there, came back for my phone, came back in, I said, well, let me look at that saw again. So I said, well, I said, you can't do 120. I said, nah, I really can't. And then I looked at it again, and all of a sudden I noticed that there's a crack in the housing right here. It goes from right here to the edge. There's a crack in the housing. And when I saw this crack, I immediately remembered this saw, that I had looked at this saw a couple months back and spotted the crack and said, no, I don't want it. Well, I said, you know what? I said, I pointed out the crack. He wasn't aware that the crack was there. Suddenly he was more willing to deal. I think I got the saw for 110 bucks with the crack. Chances are this saw is going to last me my entire lifetime with this crack in it and never give me a lick of trouble. And if it does amount to a problem, I know I could buy this housing and change it out if I had to. And I'd probably, at that point, now I'm getting back up to the kind of money I'm paying for the saw that I didn't want to pay. But I figured I would take a chance on it for the money I paid. I don't think that, I really don't think that crack's going to be an issue. I think that crack may have been there for a while. And I don't think it's a stress crack from use either. I think that's a crack because I think it got dropped at some point. It's, you know, it's got some wear and tear. But I tested it there in the store. It seems to work flawlessly. So look for that making an appearance in an upcoming video at some point when I need to cut something. But I'm glad I got it. I was happy to get myself one of these. I've been looking for one, and now this is one less thing I have to look for. I mean, they trade on Craigslist for 150, 175 bucks regularly, so I think I did just fine on that. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Guy I got the cheap taps from, he still had this tap handle. I honestly can't see what he had for you. It looks like he had $5 on this. And if he did, I probably just gave him $5 and didn't dicker, because I believe, I think I already checked and that this isn't, yeah, this is a Greenfield. This is a Greenfield tap and die, number 5. The original handles, excellent shape. Was real happy to get that for a 5. I mean, look at the jaws, how nice they look. Ooh. And then I don't even remember where I got these from, but these are, I fished these out of somewhere, and could see that they were the Ellis Starrett company. They're inside calipers, small ones. They've been engraved with somebody's initials by the looks of it there. I probably got these for like $1 or $2 from a vendor who wasn't into machinist tools. Because if a vendor that was in machinist tools had these, he probably would have had a bunch of other stuff, and that would have been either overpriced, so I wouldn't have bought any of it, or, you know, these wouldn't have been there. So I'm sure I got a deal on these. It's been so long I don't remember. But the deal of the day was the first vendor that I stopped at and spotted something. Had a couple of boxes sitting there, and I started looking through and realized that I'm looking at a bunch of carbide stuff by the looks of it, and he's got no price on anything. So I go over to him and I say to him, you know, he's sitting on a stool there, and I say, hey, I said, what are you getting for the cutting bits and that? And he says, so, which ones? I said, well, in the boxes there. He says, well, put together a pile, and he says, and we'll deal. I'm like, oh, okay, one of these. I'm going to sit there picking all day, and he's going to, you know, we're going to go back and forth and everything. So I started looking through, started pulling stuff out, and then I said to him, I'm saying to myself, you know what, I really want to get moving. I had just gotten there, and this was only like the 4th or 5th table I had gone by, and this was the first guy that I stopped at that started seriously looking at something. So finally I'm looking, I said, I'll tell you what, I said, you know, what do you want for both boxes? I said, well, actually I said, there's some stuff in the bottom of one of the boxes there I had no interest in, so I put it all in one box. Says, what do you want for all of it? He says, make me an offer. I said, I don't know, 20 bucks? He said, sold. 20 bucks. 20 bucks bought me all of this stuff. Let me start. In the bottom of the box, I dug around and I found this is an edge finder. Okay, I wasn't able to find the maker's name on it, but as far as I can tell, it works. So, edge finder. Okay. A clamp, a bar that you can clamp in your lathe tool post, I believe, and then has an arm on it to hold in rod for an indicator. And this is not shop made. Certainly looks professionally made. Couldn't find a name on it anywhere. Oh, this was with it. This fits right in here like it should. And then that right there screws, I believe, at like the best test or last word indicators that have that back that kind of like dovetails, slides right in there. I believe that's what that is for. Carbide inserts. Some funky ones. There's one that's square with rounded corners, so you get 4 cutting edges on one. That's missing 1. Looks like 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, yeah, 9 out of the 10 are in here. These are Viking Tool Company TAM 56449-250s K313s. 2007 these were made. No idea if these are going to be any good for me. Yeah, there's only 5 in this box, but again, look at that one. Alright, a carbide cutter that looks like a swastika. These are the more conventional looking. You know, I'm not going to go through every single, it'll take a ton of video to go through all this, but just to sum up, two packages of Kennametal inserts, 2 more. Another box of Viking, another box of Viking, a couple more of these weird ones. There's a loose one. There's a loose one. Applied Tooling Concepts. Bruckner, Pratt and Whitney. They say Kennametal on the back though. Well, that looks like maybe that. Might be what this goes. Yep, that's a match for that. Some more. And then what's left in this box is a whole bunch more of these. And it's a little orphan. This looks like what's in these boxes here. A little gold colored one there. There's some diamond shaped ones. Well, that's interesting. That sure looks like a knob, but is it magnetic? Nope. I have no idea what that is. Alright, so I think I got over 20 bucks in carbide sitting here alone. Not to mention the edge finder in these pieces. And that is just the overflow that wouldn't fit in this box. So yeah, we got more carbide bits. These are square ones. These are made in the USA. Carbide Industries Inc. These say VASP TP11 55A901 T40s. Again, I'm not going to name them all. Looks like 2 packages of those. This is empty. That was a honing stone in there that's apparently gone. These, I can feel these have honing stones in them. Superior Honing Equipment Incorporated, Sarasota, Florida. Just says honing stone, fine grit. These must be awfully small. So, not sure what that's for. What do we got here? This, completely sealed, never opened. This is a 7. Oh, I thought this was a package for something. This is a 7.8 volt battery. I wonder what this went for. This expires April 4th, 2015. That can't be too old. This has the little tabs on it that look like you solder to it for a more permanent installation than something. I don't know what. It's a lithium battery. The part number on it. I wonder what that went in. A couple of these leather punches. I might have just thrown these in the box. These probably didn't come with this lot. I probably got these for a buck for the pair or something like that. Same thing goes with that. That old. That's quite the cobble together. It looks like somebody welded. Looks like somebody cut the front off of a regular holder and then welded it. Or maybe they cut. Maybe this is the actual holder and they cut it. I mean, they must have had a real specific job they wanted to do with that. Not sure what these covered. See this Kennametal. This was just laying in the box, and then I found this in the bottom of the box, but unfortunately there's no cover. But it is the actual box for this. So this is a Kennametal KICR 175 SP 4055C. Okay, this is a, I think you call this an indexable end mill. So you put a carbide tip in there and a carbide tip in there, and you put this in your mill and go to town. And this is brand new, completely unused. This little plastic bag contains what appears to be 3 of the same thing, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is. It's got a one smooth dimension here, step down to a thin rod there. I wonder if that's a pilot for a yeah, I can't quite read what this said. Well, what's this label inside here say? This says dull, no good. So maybe what's in there is not what's in here. Because these aren't cutters. These 2 right here look like pilot for counterbores. This says dull, no good. Let's get a kick out of that. If it's dull, no good, why are you keeping it? No, that's another one of these. That is not a cutter of any type. DAPRA marking system PC03120. What the heck is that? Precision machine polished rod with a button on the bottom. That's probably a very specific diameter. And this side is covered with wax because it's got a sharp little point. Alright, another thing I have no idea about. Carbide drill bits. Brand new. You can tell by the weight they're carbide. Many of these were still in the tubes like this. Some of these were just left loose in the box, but then I found the tubes empty in there, so the plastic is deteriorating from age. But these are Bay State Carbide Products Corporation drill bits. Can't quite see the sizes on them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbide drill bits. This is a CTC Tool and Cutter Company, US 10, blah blah blah. 4-flute carbide end mill, a monster. I don't even think I have a holder that'll take this. Got a date of 2003 on here, but I'll tell you, that's never been used. And boy, I'll tell you, you can tell carbide, that's heavy. That's got to be, oh, somebody scratched right on the back, 5/8. Yeah, and they're wrong. Why does that say 5/8 on it? Oh no, that says 5/18. That looks like that's 1.25 inches. That shank on there. That's a shame. That I don't think I'm going to even be able to. I don't think I'm going to even be able to use that. I don't know how much that's got to be an expensive cutter to buy, right? 4-flute solid carbide end mill, 1.25 inch shank. Oh yeah, forgot to mention. Got 2 of them. No container for this one, but again, looks brand new. This is a another mystery thing here. Cylinder shape on here, very precision polished, sharp point. It's a larger version of whatever this thing is, and I got more of them, of the small ones. A handle for something. I have no idea what. It's got almost a cam action shape to it. This handle looks brand new. So it must be a replacement handle that was ordered for something. A couple of these things. They say IMG Electromark. Part number GA124-6. Hand marker. 1/2 inch by 1.5 inches by 1 inch hand marker. I don't know what these are. This appears to be some sort of an electrical device. I'm going to have to Google that to find out what that is. GA124-6. IMG Electromark. Well, this must be the remnants of the tube for that cutter. Here's a Jet Tool and Cutter. TAM 222056. There's a spot end mill, right? That also looks brand new. A little T-bar of some type, a little screw, nut screw to tighten down something. Dynafile. I don't know what that is. It's got a part number on it. This is a Dynafile 11320. I have no idea what that is. A chuck key for a drill that was either soldered in or just jammed in so tight into a piece of rod to give somebody a lot more leverage. Ah, a used end mill. 4-flute. First high-speed steel one in the whole lot. Some Kennametal goop of some type. A whole bag of whatever these are. Oh, these go with that. These are the IMG Electromark, part number 4395-1. That's very interesting. What is that? Little Torx Allen wrench. Little Torx bit. Long one. Box that contains, oh, a very small reamer. Used. Oh, here's another one of these doohickeys. This one's out of its protective container. Lowly carbide insert. Ooh, that's a small 4-flute carbide end mill. Looks like it's carbide tip maybe. A little box of, well, these look like some kind of consumables for some sort of a welder or something. They're copperish in color. They've got a hole in the middle. It looks like something's supposed to come out of it, like wire maybe. Some of these discolored on the end, almost as if they're used. Why would you save them if they were? There's another one of them things. A couple more. Alright. Resharpened by CTC. I don't understand. What do they mean sharpened? Are they talking about that little point on the end is sharpened? This is a whole bunch of these things. Why did I just have that one that was loose? These things. Whatever the heck this is, guys. Sharp point on the end. I don't get it. That's it. As if that wasn't enough for 20 bucks. So I was really happy about that. And that's where I'm going to call it quits for tonight.